Hello, friends. And today I and my friends together we're doing open source again. And my name is Nikita Koshev, and I just like open source, and I like that it allows me to bring people to the work of their dreams as fast as possible, because you don't need to go to university and spend 4 years there and then spend 2 years preparing to get a job and doing all those interviews. Well, you can just choose a company and start working there. So that's me. That's what I do. And during the daytime, I'm a backend developer, and after work, I'm open source advocate. So maybe Avijit, would you like to introduce yourself? We might have some technical problems. Andy. Oh, hi, Andy. So yeah, if that's the Andy I was thinking about, let me just check, because there's yeah, if that's Andy Piper, then we are blessed, because they
Hello,
are
it's me.
hi Andy. Oh, Andy, thank you so much, guys. That's the world famous Andy, and they helped us with our GitHub repository, actually. Andy, by the way, it's recorded, so I hope you don't mind. So Andy actually contributed to our README file and fixed the format there, if I remember correctly. So now it looks much better, and I actually reused it to add some links. So thank you. And I think Andy has 29,000 subscribers on Twitter, if I'm not wrong. Well, just think the impact on the community, how many people get help. Anyway, let's go back to what we're doing. So, Devesh, can you introduce yourself? Because Avijit, I think he has some problems with audio.
Hi, Nikita.
Oh, hi, Avijit. Can you introduce yourself?
Pardon me?
Can you introduce yourself? Maybe like in 2 words.
Okay. I'm Avijit from India, and I am working. I am Avijit from India, Kolkata. Hello.
Yeah. Okay.
Hello.
Good. And yeah, hello. We can hear you.
Okay. Yes. I am Avijit from Calcutta, India, and I'm learning data science since 2 years, and recently introduced into the open source and doing something cool in there, and also sharing my learning journey in Twitter, and those who want my help, like some from DM and like collaboration and this kind of stuff. And I'm doing collaboration with some of the peoples from India and from abroad, someone in Mexico and someone in Nigeria, and it is very nice.
Was it you who is creating the chatbot to answer the data science questions, or am I mixing things? Because one of my mates was creating a chatbot to answer data science questions.
No, that's not me.
Okay, sorry about it. Got mixed. Too many good people. Okay, not too many good people. Many good people, and my autism is faulting me. So okay, good. Thank you for introduction, Devesh. Do you want to say a few words?
Yep. Hello, guys. So I think we already interacted, Nikita, on LinkedIn, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So basically, my profile is more towards cloud infrastructure and of course Kubernetes. So I actually very much like open source, because I started working when I started working on cloud. I started with OpenStack, which is like one of the few free openly available virtualization platform. So I don't know how many times I created that, scrapped that, and that's the fun part, right, of using open source. You can do whatever you want and then delete, remove, start again. No need to pay any credit card information to anyone. So means I am more to a like extensive user of open source applications till now, and now I feel I don't know, means I don't know whether I am really capable of like committing something to existing any open source project,
That's
but yeah, I
funny
would
because
love to involve in
this
that.
first part which you said that you are mostly using, that's what every investment bank keeps telling me, that we are mostly using open source and then we are contributing only like 1-2%. And I'm like, well, if everybody
Yeah,
contributes 1 or 2%, that's enough, because what we are
yeah,
using is the
correct.
same packages. And the
Yeah,
second
right.
one is like, am I good enough to commit to open source, contribute? Well, you are alive. Actually, even dead people can contribute, I think, in some ways. But like you are, therefore you can. And especially because you're raising this question, it means that you definitely can.
Yeah,
People who
yeah.
cannot, they will just say, "Oh, I can do that," and then they will go and then get drunk. Some. Okay, Andy, do you want to introduce? Sorry, I'm not. With my autism and education, pronouns are hard for me. So should I say introduce themselves? Or,
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, hi, I'm Andy. I'm self-taught in technology. I did a degree 20 years ago in history. And I've started playing with open source and contributing to open source software probably around the late 1990s.
Wow.
As a learning experience, and because I was interested in tech and wanted to, I was building my own PCs and running Linux on them at the time. And through that time since then, I've been involved in different projects. So Devesh, you were just talking about OpenStack, and actually one of my former employers, one of my first roles in developer relations, which is what I do now, is Cloud Foundry, which obviously both competed with and collaborated with OpenStack at different times. So familiar to some extent with that. And I was just thinking about something new. So why I'm here, I should also say, I work in developer relations for a company, which you can find out quite easily by looking me up. I'm not here to talk about that, to participate from that perspective. I'm here because I love open source and I love helping other people and I love learning from other people. So when I saw that Nikita was creating this community, meetup community, I thought I'd take an interest, see what was happening. So I'm here to learn and meet people right now and see where this goes. But I was also just really quickly thinking that, just if I can also mention that I was thinking about something that everybody can do to contribute to open source, especially as newcomers, is to help the people that have been running projects for a longer period of time, sometimes, to be more welcoming to newcomers, to find, do the things that they don't realize they're not doing to help newcomers to the community. So I've started to work with a particular project this year, and they've been going for nearly 10 years, and it's not that easy to get started. So I've been trying to look at ways, or give them some ideas for ways they could let more people know about them and help newcomers and do some better documentation, or just generally kind of find an easier entry point for people, really. So I think there's lots of ways to contribute.
That's beautiful. I can pick it up from here, if you don't mind. So just today I had a beautiful session with Jose. Jose, I think he's from Mexico. Sorry, Jose, if that's wrong. I'll fix it next time. But Jose wanted to study React, and he was actually asking me how to find a good mentor on React. And I told him that let's twist it around, because finding a good mentor on anything so specialized, because you don't want to learn all the React, you want to learn some specifics which you need. So let's use open source to find this mentor, not some groups, not even London Java community. It's great, but you might wait for long, and it might never happen. Instead, let's go as close to React as you can, which is, for example, Facebook/React on GitHub. And let's choose a level which you are comfortable with. So let's go here. Let's go here. Here, let's find the level which you're comfortable with. And now it's getting funny because that reminds me of what, sorry, I'm bad with human names. Andy was, sorry, Andy, it will take me like 20 times to repeat human's name to remember. Sorry, I once almost missed my birthday. And I think my mother's as well. Anyway, but I'm better with other things. So, and actually start contributing here, and even from here, you can find mentors. So you just look for something with a lot of comments, like this one. Maybe there will be one person, but maybe if you're lucky, there will be two. At least this person is genuinely interested in, Sebastian Silberman is genuinely interested in React, I would say, right? And Sebastian, I hope you don't mind me showing the beautiful work you are doing. Wow, a lot of followers. And what is the chance Sebastian is on London Java community mentors list? So with all respect to London Java community, the chance is not very big. But this way, you already met him. But then I thought, let's do it the other way around. Let's like, you can always improve slightly. Well, it's like in Aikido or in some martial arts or in chess, you can do like totally different movement and it will be so much more efficient. Then I thought, well, Jose, you speak beautiful Spanish and I don't. I can understand some. So why don't you create this? Why don't we take my group, our group, which I created in English, and why don't we port it into Spanish? And why don't we create nosotros contribuimos a open source, something like this. And then you will start it with your React journey. So what I want to happen, I want to see your React journey from social media. And what I also want to happen is you don't need to like progress very far to share. So just install it, just make React build on your machine. I'm sure there will be something like build an installation. And every time you notice something which you don't like, raise an issue and write about it. And then fix it, and maybe don't be too selfish. Maybe don't write that you fixed it, but you can write that there was such an issue and we fixed it, or it got fixed. And basically it intersects what Andy was saying, that your help will be appreciated at this level a lot, because you might be thinking that, oh, it's a small thing. I've just edited a portion of how to install Death Lake. That's a project on Apache on a Windows machine. I just said it's a little bit there, but it will save a few hours of life for somebody who goes after you. And then it will multiply. If every single person after me, I'm not sure if I've done this contribution or if I caused it to happen in Death Lake, but basically it is much easier to install their project on Ubuntu and in Windows. So Windows has those, since version 10, Windows has the Linux built in. So you can install, have Ubuntu as part of Windows, and it's much easier, like really like two or three steps instead of 15 steps to install Death Lake into Ubuntu on your machine. So, and this documentation wasn't there. So I actually spoke to a guy from Hong Kong who was the only one who had Windows machine. So he shared it with me. So I think I added this stuff to the document, if I'm not wrong. And it wasn't ideal. My goal is not to make ideal. My goal is like to make biggest impact with the least like contribution, with the least amount of energy I can, because there are so many. That's the reason why it's getting recorded as we speak, because I wanted to help as many people. And the same reason for this Spanish idea, Spanish meetup, because a lot of people, maybe they're just not comfortable with speaking English yet, but they're brilliant minds. And well, if we can give them alternative to start writing code for Boeing in 10 minutes time, instead of 4 years university plus 2 years of getting into a nice job plus blah, blah, blah. And by the way, you forgot to have rich parents somewhere in the beginning of your life, just that life happens. then like I just opened American Airlines some time ago, and I just fixed one of their projects. So now I have a question: how long should I wait for my university or somebody to come to me and that's actually here and tell me that, oh, there's opportunity, a candidate for American Airlines? No, you can just go there and you can just contribute. So yeah, that's sorry guys, I'm speaking too much about myself. That's not very well. Sometimes you need to, but do you have any, like, because it's open floor roll like in digital schools, so friends roll together and they're like half submissive, half attacking, so you can grow faster with each other comparing to rolling alone. So let's roll. Maybe if somebody has some ideas or some problems, and then we can think how to fix them with open source.
Actually, you just now talk about this thing, right? I just now changed my laptop, and previously, whenever I used to buy a laptop, I used to install one virtual box to create VMs. And just now I find out that we can install Ubuntu directly. So
Yeah,
that make me remember. Yeah,
I think it's
so
called Windows
actually,
VDL or something.
yeah, it saved a lot of steps. I mean, instead of creating a new virtual machine, you need a software to create VMs on top of your Windows. And those steps are actually included. And better you have like you run a simulation of Ubuntu.
It's this one. VSL probably. It's not virtual machine as such. It's closer to
inbuilt
Docker
simulation only.
Yeah, so if I understand correctly, it's closer to Docker, so it's
closer to Docker, correct.
But
So it
runs
as a process on top of your existing Windows OS.
Yeah, some ways. I think it's thinner. I might be wrong. I just made this thing work for me because I'm lazy. Well, I don't want to spend my time on 15 steps on Windows. With all respect to Windows, it's an amazing system, but still.
Hello, Nikita.
Oh, hi.
Hi. So previously I am on Windows and using VirtualBox to install Linux and other kind of stuff, OSs for experiment. And then I find that the working with Linux is very much easier when you are working in a development type or computer science or something. So what I do that I totally switched Windows from Windows to Linux, and now I am using Ubuntu 20.04 LTS for more than 1.5 years. So with that, I have no issue, and it is very nice and doing data science stuff and other systems like installing Docker and Kubernetes and other like it is very easy. And sometimes they say that there is a now Snap Store have the installation, so Snap app are very slow, but I find that it is okay. So I use Ubuntu and I'm happy.
Yeah, but you just but not everybody can do that. There are some things like, for example, drivers to start with,
so
and also
recently what happened that someone I'm collaborating in a learning process with a person in Mexico, and he actually use Mac, and he will actually the code is sometimes changed actually in terminal code is different from Windows and Ubuntu in Linux system, but for there is a similarity between Mac and Ubuntu, so it is
because it's Unix-like system. Yeah,
it's actually existing.
What I'm saying that not everybody can switch to Ubuntu. In some cases, it requires drivers. In some cases, it will need too much time because I need Windows to connect remotely to my work, and my work mostly won't be very happy to support Ubuntu. Let's say this way.
Yeah,
and at least,
when I hello.
Yeah, I'm listening. You just gave me an idea, actually.
Actually,
because
I find that when we have a bug or something and go to the Stack Overflow, most of the answers are on Linux systems or on Mac systems, and there is a very little in Windows system,
yeah,
and mainly
of course.
And also the library I use like NumPy, Pandas, PyTorch, TensorFlow, those are actually tested in mainly in Linux environment. So they are very, the documentation are very good for the Linux. All time there I seen that the shell code are mainly bash shell code and not PowerShell or something else.
Okay, but you forgot to tell one thing, just one. You forgot to tell that I think I'm right. Ubuntu is open source as well, isn't it?
Yes.
I think that's the whole point. So now, if we have a person like you, Avijit, who loves Ubuntu so much, then why don't we take a look at some repositories under Ubuntu? Well, it doesn't have the verified sign here, but at least it's called Ubuntu. So I guess that if it wasn't Ubuntu, they would be sued by now by Ubuntu guys, like sued to the ground. So I can like carefully expect that this stuff might have to do somehow with Ubuntu. So let's see which repositories they have, because like, I don't know, maybe you want to.
We can check with number of contributors. If number of contributors are more, then it's genuine. Otherwise, we don't know whether it's someone's personal directory.
So this only has 4 branches, but is it branch? I think it's branches. Then we have stars. Let's have
Does it
stars.
specify release? Which release this repo is talking about?
There are more than 100 repositories. So I think they might be so different. I don't know the release model. What I'm telling is that if you have it, because I can maybe I'm wrong, I will just please correct me, but I can hear a passion for Ubuntu and Linux in your words. So instead of trying to say that, oh, sometimes Windows is better, which is true, I would rather take this passion and say that, oh, actually I will ask, Avijit, have you thought of contribution to Ubuntu, for example?
I am not thought about contribution, but I am willing to contribute in the Ubuntu if possible. If I can do it, it will be very pleasure.
So here's the link. So basically, I don't know how we share it here. Maybe I can. Maybe here we have a chat or something.
Yes. I have said you.
So that's the link.
You can share. Okay.
So let's. We won't spend too much time on like checking what this project does and everything. So not sorry. It's just that we only have like half an hour left. So although I really enjoyed the Linux discussion and I didn't want to interrupt it, and I hope I didn't. Oh, and if I hurt somebody by saying something with my autism stuff, just let me know, guys. Okay, as always, well, I like people, but sometimes I don't fully get people.
So normally, do you like contact with local maintainers, regional maintainers of that repo as well when you are committing your code?
If they come to me and they talk to me, no, I contact them through their pull request.
Okay.
Or through issue generation, it depends. But I once contacted a person, basically Maxim from DevLake. He wrote an article on Dev2, and I commented that I like this article because of such and such. And then he actually came in and said that, oh, you know, I'm related to this project, and we are becoming Apache incubator. So, and then now I have more friends somewhere in the United States and Hong Kong. Okay, so that's Ubuntu make. Maybe it has something to do with make command. All right, so it has a README file. So let's try to find something which is which can be fixed here. Sometimes it's not there, sometimes it is there. It doesn't really actually it does matter, but let me see. No, that's fine. That's fine. I'm normally looking for dots because it's dots and formatting and stuff. And sometimes it doesn't work because the quality of, for example, of Ubuntu repository, the quality will be quite high. Oh, why does this one has a comma? I don't like a comma here. So, for example, here they use double thing. So the text will be like this. Okay. And also with some repos, they ask people not to fix grammar and punctuation and stuff like that. For example, TypeScript is like that. But let me find where was this line. Yeah. So here we need this thing. Oh, no, sorry, that's my bad. Sorry, guys, that's very. First, I should fork. It's very impolite. At least, to be honest, I don't really know how this stuff is done. Like ideally, but I prefer to have it in my own repo and raise it as a pull request from my repo. So first, I need to fetch upstream. It's already there. Now, what we do, I check which branches exist there, because if there might be like develop branch, and it's not there. So probably it's okay. And also I will quickly check if there's like contribute file or something like this. It's not there. So, well, yeah, because I can spend 20 minutes on trying to find what can be, to make sure that I follow each and every rule. And sometimes it's not possible because sometimes rules will actually contradict each other. So I would rather try to make a polite change and try to break as little rules as I can during this change. So yeah, this one. And then if I broke something like in the bad way, then people will tell me. So this one we have fixed, and that's enough. So we are creating a new branch. The only thing is now is that I want to be polite and not polite. The guys, okay, I want to be polite, but also understand that people on the other side, or people around me who are working on this stuff, they have so much stuff going on. So if I can do something properly, I would rather spend a few seconds. And I'm looking normally at closed requests because I want to see what they look like. So update, translations, update. Do they have like type there? They have, oh, that's bug, because now they don't have bugs. So I'll probably just use, oh, this one has 17 open. That's enhancement. Oh, actually, you can use this stuff to, I don't think I want to remove the open thing here. Okay, do they have something like fix? I don't know, because everybody does it slightly differently. One fix? No, it's just a label. I want to find the request which will actually, maybe if I go to issues, oh, it is issues. I want to see is closed, because I want to see what the closed look like for this repository, and probably with a little bit. Okay, and that's it. So far to me, it looks like a very free form. So they don't do like fix double colon or something and then describe. So so let's see. This is still, yeah, this is closed. Anyway, that's enough time because I don't want to like burn too much time. Fix. So we'll call it fix. Typo removed. Typo in plain text was removed. Okay, and we will do it like this. Let me find, yeah. Okay, and please note the last symbol, the ring. Now I will try to use it for the typo fix, readme typo fix. That's shorter. Okay, propose changes. Nice. So one thing, I want to go here and just open this file just to see if it's still, if I didn't damage anything by mistake. It almost happened once. Oh, sorry. Is it Windows V? No. Now how on earth I do remember? Yeah, it looks correct, although I don't remember which one it was. Probably this one. Anyway, now we can go here, and now we can do this stuff. Okay, and now we can. So it was view. I actually don't like this statement. So it says will a display full debug log. Just bear with me. I'm not sure it doesn't sound like English. Let me quickly check, but we are almost there. I just want to double check. There's a bad smell, but maybe it's all my. Oh, that's fine. It's part of a full sentence. So now we're creating pull request. Here we take double caution because yes, I want it to go from my branch to come to their branch. So it's easier for them to refuse it. And it's also easier for me to have several branches at once, because this way I will, I can switch back to main and then I can contribute more. But well, congratulations guys, all of us. And first of all, Avijit, we just became Ubuntu contributors.
Nice.
And well, I really love Ubuntu. I love this stuff and people who created that. But we just contributed. If you didn't come to us today, if Avijit didn't come to us today, this comma would have stayed there for years. So I understand I could find something more complicated to fix, but for my idea is to bring people into the open source, not to. Well, I'm not ready yet to progress after the point. So I will grow, I promise. But well, what do you think, guys? Come on, was it that bad?
Hello.
Hi.
So when I am want to do the contribution to something other than like readme files or the tutorials or something, when it is actually the code base, so what type of precaution we can take? Like we can do something like when merging or the taking the pull request. What nuisance I have to take?
Which kind of precaution are you speaking about?
Because like something what happened, I don't know, in the Twitter, that someone actually sent message to the all developer, like some.
Oh, I've seen it in the news. Maybe Andy is better to answer here. I have some answers, but I think Andy might give a better answer here.
The one you're talking about, Avijit, was very funny and very unfortunate.
Actually, I don't understand what happened. Actually, there are people are talking this type of stuff and like it is viral, but I don't understand what happened. Actually, they are sending the messages to the all developer like that.
Let's give Andy a moment to explain.
It was I think it was Epic, wasn't it? And Unity or one of those, and there were a lot of people subscribed to a particular issue, and it got transmitted to everybody. So that was poor configuration and poor management, and just the size of that repo. I think that was really cool to see, just, you know, and I really love Nikita's energy, you know, just like, let's, you know, okay, so you're really excited about Ubuntu, so let's go contribute, and we're now Ubuntu contributors. That was really cool. I think there's a few things to keep in mind if you're wanting to make, like, especially code contributions, and one would be things like, there's a few things, in fact. I try not to think too much about them, but I need to think about them in my role, which is my employer. I may have things in my contract with my employer about whether or not I should be contributing or how I can be contributing. So it shouldn't be a big problem. It's just worth understanding. And also, it's worth knowing from a code perspective. Just because you've tested something locally doesn't mean that it's going to work for everyone. So that's one reason why we send a pull request and sort of put a patch out there and say, this works for me, can other people let me know? And then you can have a conversation in something like GitHub or issues or pull requests or discussions. But if you're brand new to a community, I've sometimes found it helpful to sort of get to know a few people first, just understand what other people are working on. So you're not going to suddenly show up with a big contribution or a contribution that interferes with something someone's already working on, maybe. But other than that, precautions, I think a lot of it is it's enthusiasm for the project and interest, and like having, if you're using Ubuntu every day, for example, it's great because you're genuinely somebody who has an interest in the product and the projects that make up Ubuntu, because it's a lot. I mean, any Linux distribution is a whole lot of projects, and you might be interested in just, I don't know, the video editor you're using on your desktop or something else, and you may want to, add a little feature to the menu that makes it easier for you to achieve something you do every day, and so you go ahead and do that. But the project might have a roadmap. So I know Nikita was looking for, do they have guidelines? Have they given us guidance here in their README about how to contribute, or what sort of things they're not looking for help with? So that's always worth understanding, just from a like how your contribution may be received perspective. Finding out who else is using the thing and just getting to know, what interests them. I think those are some of the things to look out for. I think what you just, the big one that you just mentioned from maybe 2 weekends ago with this particular open source project that had so many watchers, I think that really is a very occasional one-off. It was very annoying and very funny, and it was a result, I think, really of a misconfiguration. It's not something that is going to happen very often, and I don't think it's something to really kind of focus on or worry about. I focus more on getting involved and getting to know people and showing how interested you are, rather than, and if you do make a mistake, then hopefully friendly community, good communities can accept that. Maybe you didn't know what the preference was initially for interaction, or maybe this is your first, you can always say, for example, this is my first contribution to an open source project, as part of your commit message, just to kind of set that level with people, to say that people understand that you're a newcomer. Maybe you may need some guidance or support or help or advice. I just submitted a pretty big patch, just to some documentation, not unlike what Nikita did, but it covered like a huge chunk of different documents in a particular project. And I tested it. I built the documentation locally. It started a web server. I tested it all out. It sat there for 2 months, and I was waiting for their next release and thinking they'd bring in my pull request and fix it. It was very much just like update some links, make sure that we should be using HTTPS everywhere in a URL instead of HTTP if we can, because we shouldn't be linking to HTTP non-SSL content if we can avoid it, because it's bad practice. All that kind of stuff. And the project lead then has reviewed it yesterday, actually, and left in my pull request, said, okay, this is too much. There's too many things you're doing in one pull request. Please split out the bits where you're fixing our links from the bits where you're fixing our language or our wording or our grammar into 2 things, so we can apply them as separate requests. And then in this other, and then in a few other places, they said, actually, we wanted that to say that in that particular way for this reason. So I know now, okay, made a mistake. I can go back and rework the pull request, split it in 2, address the things they've asked for. They were friendly. I've spent some time getting to know that project. They didn't sort of say, what the heck is this? Who are you? Even if they had said, who are you? It's like, I'm somebody who uses your product. I love your technology and I want to help you. So I don't know if that's really a great answer, but it was just my experience around a few of the things I've seen happen.
Okay, very nice of you and very elaborate explanation. So what I find that the last night I am going and researching on the PyTorch library. So the PyTorch library has a very nice contribution guideline, and there are many things I learned from that. That when I find some issue, I can put that in a issue list and then go to the PyTorch community, and where I can discuss that issue with others. And there are some contribution which are actually like beginners level. I can do that in there. So there are many type of terminology, like I don't understand what is the triage. There is something triage. So can anyone explain me that?
They said what? Sorry, that I'm just looking at the coded out. I'm looking at the contribution guide right now for PyTorch. I just put a link to it in the chat. And you said, did you say, I may have misheard you. Did you say try us, or did you say something else?
Try us.
Try us. No way to claim issues.
No, it is triage. I think it is TRIGE.
Oh, triage. Oh, I see.
Okay,
triage.
okay.
Sorry, yes.
Sorry, I did mispronounce it.
No, that's fine. English is a complicated language, for goodness. And so TRIAGE, so triage.
Yeah, triage.
And that word means so triage. That's the word.
It's like 4 I strings for some, if I remember correctly. Basically, oh no, triage is different. We use it in medicine, I think.
Yes, exactly.
When they ask different questions to find the problem fast. So they can ask one question, and it means that it's definitely not either this sickness, so yeah, you have 2,000 of possible sicknesses, but I can ask you a question, and I can understand, is it a sickness like in mind, or is it a sickness in body, something like this. So I mean, you can Google it. So
yeah, exactly. So triage is also quite often in open source projects is quite often used because many people may submit an issue in slightly different language, but it's the same issue. So you quite often have people who do some work in the background on bigger projects, especially something like PyTorch, where they are going through the issues, exactly, sifting through the issues, categorizing them. These issues relate to the machine learning model. These issues relate to performance of the model. These issues, so categorizing them, and also then looking for duplicates that the original bug reporter may not have spotted. So you might have a way of describing an issue or a problem, but I may have a totally different way of describing it. But in the end, it's the same core problem. So somebody who's very familiar with the technology may look at the problem and say, actually, these two people don't realize they're reporting the same thing. We're going to link these issues together, make them one issue, cut down the work we have to do to solve the problem. So that's what triaging is used for. So exactly, categorizing and cleaning up. So on very big projects where you may have hundreds of issues, then you may have people who are, some people who are more interested in, so let's think of something. I do some work with MicroPython, and MicroPython has got hundreds of issues, thousands of issues, I think. So there may be people that are working in MicroPython for different processors. So MicroPython works on multiple different embedded systems. So there may be people who are using it on a Raspberry Pi Pico versus an ESP32 versus some other processors. So we can categorize our issues to say these are specific to one of those hardware systems. And then we know that somebody who's going to pick up those issues may be a specialist in those ways. So you can sometimes help the project as well. If you're going through a list of issues and you say, actually, I can see that this looks similar to this other issue. On GitHub, you can do, in the GitHub issues comment, you can say this looks similar to, and then if you type the hashtag character, and then put the number of the issue that looks related, then it will automatically fill in a link, create a link for you to that other issue. So maybe you've spotted something that happens on both Windows and Linux. It may be the same core underlying problem in JavaScript. I'm picking examples here.
Yeah. You can also send this exact issue to our chat. We have our, what was it, Swagger, or I don't remember this name of that, but you can send it to the chat, so we'll find it. If we don't know it, we'll ask around, and well, we'll get the answer. It's a good question. Regarding your original question, so first of all, from Andy's answer, what I like most is Andy's example how they benefited a lot by the pull request not being accepted, because Andy learned that, well, in this project they prefer changes to be clean, so they can cleanly separate links from, let's say, typos. So because in such a big change, if there's one typo which is fixed incorrectly, they still want the links. So sometimes they're using this way. And the second one was, I don't remember, what was the second change? It was something tasty as well. Can you remember, remind me, Andy? You spoke about two cases.
Sorry, that was and I just gave you the wrong link in the chat as well. I was trying to put on, no, I didn't mean to do link screen share. I was trying to share that link to my issue. So yeah, so categorizing. I was talking about categorizing long lists and complicated projects as well. So this one I've just linked in here. This pull request is one I submitted a few months ago for some documentation. And if you look in there, you'll see that the project lead now has gone in, and I tried to be very specific about what I changed when I sent the pull request. But you'll see that 53 files have been changed. So that's a lot of different files that have been touched.
Wow.
And a lot of them are quite small changes. So like I said here, HTTP to HTTPS, because we don't use really HTTP anymore. And it's just going to make sure that the developers using the documentation are staying safe because their browser is following secure links. Python here, this example, Python changed the structure of its documentation so that the redirects work for now, but that might not be the case in the future. So just really wanted to tidy things up and help.
That's very important. Oh, sorry.
No, I agree with you, Nikita. It was one of the reasons why I helped with the documentation for your project, was just to sort of look. I couldn't come along to the introductory session you held a few weekends ago, but what I can do is help with some of the, they're sometimes not very exciting work, but I quite enjoy the not so exciting work, because some people are so busy building the next big feature that actually it's some of the things that make it nicer to use or consume get left behind. And this is not what I'm saying about, the README for this open source project, but just I enjoy contributing in small ways to these kind of things, and just helping to structure things a bit, make it a bit more pleasant to go through maybe.
That's what Andy helped you. So basically now it looks nice and like italic and so on. And by the way, this stuff is important, especially the previous example, because if you read a book called Clean Code, it talks a lot about code smell. And if all your documentation smells, then you might miss the smell of some multi-threading issue. But if all your documentation is clean and all your code is clean, then, well, I won't lie you that you'll find immediately, but you have much better chances of finding stuff. And also people who are reading documentation, they will actually read it probably for a bit longer time than normally. They won't just throw it away and like,
yeah,
it's happened. I don't want to speak bad about companies, but
no. It's about attention to detail, which I find, shows the quality of a product. That if you're buying a product and you can tell it's been well made, whether it's software or hardware or something, when a product is well made, you can experience it. And somebody's at the same time as wanting to move fast, which we often do with technology and with learning to code, and there's a lot to be said for trying things, hacking on a new thing and putting it out there and getting people to tell you about it. But if you really care about something, you're going to pay attention to those details as well, I think. So I love those parts of open source as well. So
Yeah,
I'll stop talking.
No, it's I have the same problem. This when I meet interesting people, which is most people actually, but especially as you are guys, I can keep speaking till the morning, and well, but yeah. So to wrap it, not to wrap it, but like to finish answering to the question, it will be hard to do more than Andy did, but so in terms, if you are afraid of damaging some, so this thing is like emailing 20,000 people, it won't happen. It doesn't happen often. You might be afraid of pushing in something which will make code insecure, but there are tests for that, and there are people who review your code. The only thing I would say, unless you are closer to end level than now, if you are just starting the project, don't do the big contributions, even if you know how to do them. Do the small ones, because that will help you to create network of trust. So people will know that Avijit is submitting this one. It looks correct, but what is also important, before that, Avijit submitted 50 fixes for smaller things, and they are also correct. So we trust him. Otherwise, they can say that, oh, that looks like 50 files. We are just not going to waste our time. This person comes out of nowhere, and well, we don't know who it is. I'm just making things out of the air, but I don't want you to get a bad experience with working on something for 2 weeks. And also, I would say try to benefit from it, because if you don't benefit from open source, it doesn't. If I understand correctly, it means that there is a license attached, and that's it. It doesn't mean that you must burn out. So if you try to understand your experience, as I did it even from those pull requests which were not accepted, and for example, if you just try installing, or if you just try building this Ubuntu Make project, and then write about an article and smaller tweets can be automated, so they appear on different days, so like constantly for marketing purposes. So this way, not only so number 10, you will be benefiting from it, like your personal brand will be benefiting, and number 0 or number 1, depends how we count, number 0, people who are going your way, who are going in your steps, it will be easier for them. So they will be higher because they stand on the shoulders of giants or something like this. So it's from the saying that he thought he's flying, but in reality he stood on shoulders of giants or something like this. I don't know exactly where it came from, but well, something like this. So please, Avijit, if you start this journey, then please share, and so you will benefit. You won't burn out, and if we might start seeing that you've been out, and then we'll let you know. And maybe you'll meet even more friends who are also interested in Ubuntu, and they don't know how to contribute. So you might become how to call it, a well-deserved Ubuntu local star of your community, because you'll be Ubuntu go-to, or Ubuntu/open source go-to person, because you are that person already. That's it. So well, I hope MIT guys won't hate me for that. MIT people, they're a nice university, but we do it faster. For like 4 years fast. Oh, good. Anything else, or shall we wrap up the session? How would we like it today?
So today's session is very nice and very
Thank you so much.
Learning stuff is very easy, and also what I excited about that you did a contribution live, and this is the most interesting part.
Yes,
and
that's why I do commerce, because if I start trying to look smarter than I am, it might break down. And well, you can do comma. Everybody can do comma.
So recently, I get an invitation from the wilco.gg. You can search it. This is actually a website which you can practice the tech stacks like Docker and how when you are working in a production environment, how it's work, like forking the repository, taking changes, pull request, and it is wilco.gg, and this is actually invitation only.
Can you maybe share the link in the chat?
Okay.
Oh, it's a C. C. Oh, that looks nice. That looks very 80s. Wow, that's not bad. That's good design.
It's like a simulated environment, like the pilots training in a simulator. It's like the future employees or like developers can test their skill in the simulated environment, and I started that, and it is actually invitation only, and they give me two invitations. So if anyone you know that who are actually want to practice something, like you can give me my Twitter link, like
okay. You can write a tweet about that and I will retweet it. But personally, I am pro practice and less tests. Because well, if I had a choice to nowadays, if I could go 20 years earlier, and I could say 2006 or 2004, I would say that Nikita, just drop away this book about Java programmer certification or something like this. Just don't do it like at all. Go and find any open source project, not any open source project, as close to Java as you can, and start contributing now. Don't do tests at all, because they're like, if you're talking about hiring now, like a job market, then there are multiple routes, and two of those which I am aware. One is like you apply, or you get noticed by recruiter, and then you start jumping over all those hoops. And the second one, you go to a nice company, and you spend some time preparing, using lead code, HackerRank and stuff, which is cool, but well, how many times have you solved graph problem at your current job? You might have to, but you need to know all the algorithms. So that's one path. And another one, you go to OpenJDK project and you fix something big there. You become top contributor there for half a year, and you keep writing about it. And if you that's my approach.
Yes, actually at last you have to contribute to the main code repository of your company. That's it.
Sorry, I didn't get this one.
So actually it is for what open source contribution to the open source is very good, because when you work in a company, you are actually contributing to their company's repository.
That's true.
That's why employer actually taking something serious who are working in an open source or contributing something like that.
Yeah. So yeah, but check your legislation, because some companies, they have those predatory contracts which state that everything which you create at any time belongs to them. And although it might be unlawful, I don't want you to waste your energy on fighting this system. There are many nice companies to work for. So yeah, I haven't met these companies often, only 2 times, I think. So yeah, okay, we should find something positive to wrap up, because well, these companies happen rarely. So I just want to thank all of you guys, and Andy as well. I would prefer to say in particular, but some people don't like when they are separated. So I would like to thank all of you guys with us together today. We made a contribution to Ubuntu, and what is more important, we will share it in social networks, and hopefully more people will see that, well, contributing to open source is not that complicated. We can do it. And
Yes.
well, that's it. So life
So-
is better and not as hard as you can think sometimes it is.
So thank you, Nikita. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Devesh.
Thank you.
It's a wonderful sessions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Namaste from India to all.
Namaste. Acha. Acha.
Acha. Oh,
That's all I
you know Bengali.
Just a little bit, just few words. But thank you, guys. And yeah, I'll stop recording now, if it's recording, and I'll put it tomorrow online. And let me know if you're not fine with that. Then, well, I'll think of something. Okay. Okay. Cool.
Good night.
Thank you. And
Thank
oh
you.
yeah, I have one call now, but yeah, thank you. Bye. Bye. Bye.